Good evening, everyone. Oh my gosh. I hear all these noises the minute I come on, and I've got 5 cats in the living room bouncing around on everything. Good evening, everybody. It's Antonio Reed and Sandy Shallis, and we did not plan this, but we really feel like we pulled this together. I've been sick as a dog. Everybody knows I've had shingles. My rash is going away because I've been taking horse-size antiviral pills, which are I guess it's kicking it out of me. I don't. It's 3 days I haven't had a headache, and it's been miserable. But along with being miserable with my health, we're also pretty miserable about the United States. And both of us, Antonio and I, were like really commiserating on how miserable we are. And so we thought we would just come on tonight and see who joins us. And we know that everybody else in the whole entire world, every media outlet, is on tonight, probably right now. But you'll have a lot more fun with us. So I'm saying hi. Going South is here. Hi, Torstein. How are you? Just dropping in. Yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff to see, but
Yeah.
Antonio, how you been? And Cindy Seeley's here. Robert Crane, John. Robert just voted for Tulsi. I don't know if anybody's joined us, but while you say hi, Antonio, and let it out because tonight is a bit of a vent, maybe a rant.
Well, hey everybody. Happy Super Tuesday.
Yeah, happy Super Tuesday.
Yeah. Bernie Sanders is fortunately in the lead right now on the Democratic nomination, on the side for the Democratic nomination. So I'm very excited about that. That is one thing that gives me pause for hope and inspiration that at least there's some sort of plurality in the United States that in some sense understands that of course we should be providing health care for all of our people. Of course we should be providing education, high quality, tuition free to all of our people. Of course we should be something to alleviate the housing inequity and housing crisis in this country, that we should reform our criminal justice system, which is really the remnants of antebellum slavery. So I'm happy to see that that's happening. And then of course there's also a lot of things that give me pause in the other direction,
Mm-hmm.
and that is, and I'll say it in very basic and plain terms, the plantation of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, really.
I call it that. And in fact, I was just being very nice because normally I don't call it the Democratic Party because I think that in doing that, I'm doing a disservice to the word democratic. This party is not democratic, so I usually call it the Democrat Party
You
because
sound
it's
like a
not a.
Republican when you do
I know,
that.
and that's so funny because people who are consider themselves on the left, that's what they say. They say, "Oh, Antonio, you sound like a Republican when you say that." I say, "Well,
We
the
know that.
Democrat Party is a plantation
Yeah.
party." So
You're
if that
very
makes me
right.
sound like a
Yep.
Republican, you're damn straight. It makes me sound like a Republican of 1864.
Yeah,
So
right.
you're right.
Oh
Uh,
shit.
I, I recognize the Democrat Party for what it is,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
especially I have a couple of articles and stuff to put up. I don't know, we're not going to read the whole thing, but the flavor of what's been going on this week is has been insane, and we knew that. Here, I'll show you. We knew that this was going to happen. We knew that, but we didn't. I didn't know it was going to be this bad. I'm going to. Whoops, I'm on the wrong article. This was in Rolling Stone. This whole article, and this is it encapsulates everything. The Operation Bernie block is in full effect. Can you see it, Antonio? Can you see the
let
article
me
up on the
see.
screen? Yeah, well, it's up, and it's by Andy Kroll,
No, I can't.
and it says confused about the flurry of news in the presidential race. Here's what it all means. Now, we're not going to read tonight because we really didn't plan, but I just wanted to show you guys that article because it kind of encapsulates how we feel. We feel that this is happening, and it's uncomfortable to me because I just didn't want to see it happen. The business as usual. The it's just tough. It's really tough. And I know you're having a really tough time, Tony. You're reading. Hey, Mindy's with us. She says, I'm biting nails and praying hard. Please let it be Bernie. Please let it be Bernie. Please let it be Bernie. And you know what? That makes me say that what I want to say. You can hear me, Tony, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the older people, and I am in that crowd, we're not voting because of our own interests. We're voting because of goddamn Tony. We're voting for the kids. And they're so mother effing selfish. I said it as nice as I could. Go ahead, my friend.
But one of the things that kind of upset me, and I hate to say this,
Say it.
my grandmother said her vote was for Joe. And to me, and she said why, so she explained it wasn't just saying that she likes Joe Biden. Because I think most people, I don't think anybody is actually saying that. I don't think
Really?
anybody, it's, even Jill, Joe Biden's wife,
Doesn't
she said,
like him.
hey, listen, most people don't like my husband. I don't even like my husband. But,
Is that real?
that was that's what she said. Or at least that's what it sounded like to me.
Hey, Mindy,
But
you should
either
join
way,
us. We should have Mindy join us. Mindy, you want to join us on Skype? We didn't plan this. She won't. Oh, Philip wants to know if I'm wound up a little. Hell yeah, Philip. I haven't been doing anything. I've been sick as a dog for a month. I've had a headache. And yes, I'm drinking coffee. He said, well, I should put that. Wait, wound up a little, Sandy? Yes.
most people think I think that okay, Joe Biden's the safe pick because he's going to carry on Obama's legacy. I think a lot of black people in the South think that he's here to follow up on Obama's legacy, and I guess that would make sense, right? Because he's Obama's vice president.
Yeah.
The part that I think people miss out then on is that what is Obama's legacy? Obama idly stood by when it came to private prisons. Obama idly stood by when it came to, this mass defunding of our schools that led to the $1.5 trillion student debt. Um, oh, Biden is the guy that led the charge behind disabling people from actually declaring bankruptcy on student debt. That's actually how he got his claim to fame. This is a credit card slave master. That's who Biden is. That's what he represents, unfortunately. So I think that when we look at people and we try to understand and try to engage, like, how do they actually see these people, right? What is it that people see in Joe Biden? It's obviously not him for who he is, right? There's all these other appendages for reasons of why people support these different proponents, right? But when it comes to Bernie Sanders, nobody's supporting Bernie Sanders because he's a savvy politician, or he's a smooth looking guy or something like that, or because he's an eloquent speaker. Like, nobody supports him like that. You ask people, why do you support Bernie Sanders? Oh, because he supports Medicare for all, universal health care, or because he understands that we have to respond like hell to the climate crisis.
Yeah. Um, yeah, you have a point. I think he's the best, and I'm sorry I took myself off. I think he is the best positioned. That's why we endorsed him at Environmental Coffee House. Like, you know, we're such a big media outlet, but we did anyway because he has the best policies on the Green New Deal, and he's got. I'm going to put up, if anybody needs to learn, you got to go to his website. And I always tell people, read the policies. Here's the website, and this is the link for. It's so long. The Green New Deal key points. What I was asked by my brother was, well, how Bernie better explain how are we going to do it? My brother works for a big company. How are we supposed to transition? Well, his company's multinational, and of course they have to, but they have to figure it out with the guidance of the administration. And there'll be a lot of guidance. And I'm putting this up because I'm showing the modern smart grid. Now, here, a smart grid means a secure, intelligent electric grid system that is capable of managing high amounts of renewable energy, charging electric vehicles. I know it sounds like hopium, and maximizing efficiency, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, he talks about this, how they'll spend the money and what they'll do. And this is where the corporations who hate him, right? The corporations who hate him will come along. They can be progressive. They don't have to be business as usual.
Well, there's even still incentives embedded in the system that would even still cause corporations to not want to be progressive, and that's, it's always going to be disruptive in some sense to change course.
Well, yeah.
And so, one of the things that I'm doing at my alma mater, Appalachian State University, is looking at this issue of how do we transition on an institutional basis. And there's incredibly complex questions that we have to ask ourselves that involve understanding the academic, administrative, political, administrative agenda, understanding the different engineering issues, concerns, technical concerns with the transition, understanding the financial and funding, understanding the partnerships, the contracts, contractual obligations, understanding how you have to operate and maneuver to achieve certain climate goals within these very narrowly defined, utility contracts, and trying to collaborate across different departments, offices, and community networks to, develop what essentially is complex energy policy. So these things, people are looking at, experts, ordinary people, and it is a difficult thing to do. And so there is a lot of resistance, because why would businesses want to spend time doing this when they can spend time, producing their products and making profit? So that's an incentive itself not to change course.
Yeah, it is. You're right. I sometimes feel a little pie in the sky. And that's
So
what
the government's going to have,
yeah.
the thing is, government is going to, and we don't want to say this in capitalistic society,
No.
but somebody is going to have to be the adult in the room and say, hey, this is the direction we're going in, regardless if you want it or not. And that's why we look and praise the FDR moment.
Yeah.
That we were not allowing, Black and Decker to make washing machines for profit while we were at a world war. We told them, no, your factories, these assembly lines, or this, that, and the other, are going to be used for the war effort. And so, in some sense, people who are voting for Bernie Sanders recognize that this is not an ordinary moment. This is a moment where we have to come together and demand rational utilization of our resources to save ourselves and our posterity. And that's why it's so heartbreaking to see people, first of all, to even have someone like Amy Klobuchar enter the race for the presidency, or Pete Buttigieg, or all of these other, names, Michael Banner or whoever. These people are so offensive to the recognition that our species is in crisis. Their sole job, and these are U.S. senators, and these are not people who are unaware of the dangers that we now face. These are people who are acutely aware. And their job is to dismiss and redirect that attention away from addressing this crisis because it threatens the status quo.
Oh
And
my
it's so
God.
disgusting that Amy Klobuchar, that Joe Biden, that Bloomberg, and the rest of them would come on and try to divert attention away from dealing with the crisis at this moment. And it's shame on Bernie Sanders for not talking in the crisis language. We are not facing a decision of, what flavor ice cream is better. Okay, we are literally deciding if our species is going to
Mm,
survive in a dignified form by the middle of the century.
you got
Um,
that right.
and we're asking this question, and that's why I think it's so critical.
I feel so bad. I lost the YouTube chat, and we've got a lot of conversation. I lost the YouTube chat online. This happens with this streaming program, and then all of a sudden it'll all come back. I have Kendra from before. Leave it on. It'll come back. Marsha's with us. But then all of a sudden, boom, it's gone. It's like crazy, and I can't figure it out. But you're making a lot of sense. And Antonio, just from reading what I did, your writing and your for your school, your climate plan, I can see how you can understand what would be needed for these corporations to bring themselves to the home run, to take the lead in being corporations that are stewards of the earth. And maybe, it's not even just managing and operating their facilities with green energy. It could be reevaluating what the products and goods and services are going to be needed in the future that may not be, that are now, we're making now, we're using now, we're consuming now, but that completely will be obsolete with what's coming.
So I think there's a lot that we can learn just looking at what's happening on the scene today. So I agree. It's hard to say what's going to happen now. I keep on thinking about the election. I'm very thankful that the great state of California has woke up from its 2016 hypnosis.
I hope so. Mindy, has it awakened? Mindy, you're here with us. I mean, Mindy said her mother voted for Bernie, so I think that might be. Man, I'm working on my mother, man.
My mom, I'm sure, voted for Bernie Sanders, or at least I hope so. My grandmother didn't.
Well, I hope my mother will too. Oh, Basil's with us on YouTube. Gosh, why aren't. Ugh, I just don't get it. I mean, I could fart around, put you on screen, let you go off and talk and see if I can fix this, or just. I mean, I think we're having a good conversation. Mindy's all excited. Woohoo, she says, woohoo.
Well, I'll keep on saying, like I was saying before.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm going to
I'm
take
so
myself off for a
disappointed.
minute.
Okay,
I'm a
I'm
little
so
upset.
disappointed in the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is such a failure of a party. This is a party that refuses to even, and notice that this is something that I think is so shameful in the United States. Um, but we don't even talk about the number of people who needlessly die simply because they cannot afford health insurance under the free market, free enterprise healthcare system in the United States. But Yale recently um, released a study showing that almost 70,000 Americans, this is even under Obamacare, nearly 70,000 Americans, and that's actually almost double, I mean, that's up almost 70% from from 2009 before Obamacare, because Harvard had an estimate of 45,000. Yale's now, and that was 2009,
Yeah.
and now Yale has a estimate of 70,000 in 2020. This is absolutely getting out of control. The American healthcare system is the most expensive in the world, and it has the worst outcomes in terms of cost per person and the number of lives saved. And those, of course, have to be the only things that matter when you're talking about the distribution of healthcare outcomes in the society. To me, I look at this and I think this is, if you think about a society as an organism, this is a society that is constantly engaged in what is self-injurious behavior. Okay, it is self-injurious to your society not to secure health care in this manner. It is self-injurious to the society to burden the future generation with $1.5 trillion of student debt. It is self-injurious to the society to ignore the issue of climate change to the point where we're almost at 420 parts per million of CO2 in the atmosphere. It is self-injurious to have a private prison system. It is self-injurious to ignore the maintenance of your infrastructure on a national level. It's self-injurious to engage in all these type of behaviors. And so you have to then ask, what is happening in American political culture? American political culture, in my opinion, is engaged in a sort of suicide. We are witnessing the United States political culture kill itself. And the way that it's doing this is by simply ignoring its own health, ignoring its body politic. And it's doing so because it's infected by a corporate elite who only are interested in serving their own narrow-minded goals and interests, which means chasing profit, either by creating product or by playing fancy games with derivative markets. But all of this is a type of, in my view, derangement. Our species, our planet right now is facing a global crisis. And, people are looking at right now the coronavirus. The coronavirus is just like prelude to what climate change has in store. There are so many type of viruses that climate change is going to induce on our society. And what the coronavirus is allowing us to see and do is we look how it can easily and pervasively spread in our culture and our society as it has. So I hope that we have the will to put this all together intellectually, spiritually, in ourselves and in our communities, and that we vote for Bernie Sanders. And that's the least we can do. And there's going to be a lot more work. And Bernie Sanders, and that's why I really appreciate him, understands that. This is not just about voting for him. This is really about getting politically active, becoming participatory Democrats, small d, not Democrats as in the Democrat Party, but Democrats as in people who belong to a democratic society, a democracy, about actually participating in that society and making sure that the type of policy that we want passed is passed for the good of our people and for the good of our planet. And I think that has to be first and foremost in how we understand our politics. And right now, that's not. Right now, what dominates our political landscape is the business agendas of corporate elites. And I think, sure, we can get things like gay marriage out of stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that because business people tend to be cosmopolitan and liberal leaning in their outlook. Who cares if your clients are gay or Muslim or whatever it might be, as long as they have the money to buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
The consumer
but
society. That's what they're scared of losing.
So, but if it comes to regulating their business or anything that impedes their profits, that's when it becomes an issue. So we have to make sure that we become we're the rational agents in this because our corporate and business leaders are not rational. In fact, they're the opposite of rational. They're business minded.
Right.
That's not what humans are. You have to train yourself to be business minded. So I guess they're a hyper type of rationalized, where all of their decisions are spreadsheet based. But this is way beyond spreadsheets now. So I hope that we have that type of will in ourselves to realize we can't secure Medicare for all. We can't secure tuition-free college for all. We can't secure um, debt relief for people who have medical crisis. Um, we can respond to climate change.
I think so. I think so. Mindy says the corporate hostile takeover of the Democratic Party must end. And the party's been like this for a long time. The parties have changed though. They've gone back and forth. The Republican Party of Lincoln and freeing the slaves, and then the Democrats, everything turned around and changed, but we've been going towards this in both parties. I mean, neocon, neolib. It's all in economics, Mindy, as you know. It's all economics. A lot of it. She knows a lot about that. But do you have anything, Antonio, to comment about the economics being um, a big driver of this? Because the neoliberal doctrine behind the well, actually, libertarians are the free market. Capitalism is the neoliberal doctrine, at least what we're following now.
Yeah, our economics in the West is to me, it is the most spectacular demonstration of our great derangement.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what we understand to be economics is driven by the commodification
Mm-hmm.
of nature,
Right.
turning nature into products and then selling those products for profit. Um, but this assumes that nature is endless, that you can continue to do this for an indefinite amount of time.
Well, we know that. Everybody that follows us knows that is just not ever going to happen. Finite growth on an infinite planet. That's the.
And so ultimately, our economy is driving, you know, so let me say again, coronavirus. There was these satellite images that showed the amount of pollution that was reduced in the Chinese cities that were quarantined during the coronavirus. The pollution had dropped absolutely not to zero, but near zero. At what I would call steady low state emission. Steady low state emission are just like, okay, humans are alive in these cities, but they're not doing anything. So like your refrigerator, your lights are still working, like all of like the necessary things are working, but nothing is going on. Nobody is driving, nobody is going to
Right.
work or to the movies, or so there's no activity going on. And emissions plummet in all of these Chinese cities.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
but that's our economy. Our economy is a omnicidal heat engine. It's eating the planet and spewing toxic heat trapping fumes into the Earth's atmosphere. Um, and so a Green New Deal is like a clean heat omnicidal engine.
Yeah.
Um,
I like
so
that. Let's not forget that.
um, I made the comparison at my school. We don't want to get ourselves in the business of cutting down the Amazon rainforest with electric chainsaws
No.
and bulldozers as opposed to gas powered ones and say, oh, look, we got our emissions down. Um, so I'm skeptical of the Green New Deal in that sense.
And the okay, a little bit I understand that. I watched this show a couple of times called Building Off Grid. But they're building off grid, but they have to use bulldozers, planet eaters, chainsaw, everything is gas powered. Some people try to use solar powered tools, but to get there, obviously we can't get we can't get off fossil fuels so fast. And it's not like I'm saying what Amy Klobuchar did. Oh, fossil, it's a bridge fuel. It's a bridge fuel. I mean,
She's a maniac for
It's
saying
a bridge
that.
fuel, but I think Joe Biden feels like that. Isn't he pro fracking? I
Yes, they're
mean,
all. The only person who's not pro fracking on that stage is Bernie Sanders.
I know.
Warren is publicly not pro fracking. She's privately pro fracking.
And how do we know this? Is that
This is who Liz Warren is showing herself to be. She's showing herself to be, and that is such a. I'm so mad and
oh,
infuriated with
go
her.
ahead. Go ahead, get it out.
I, I actually in 2016, I didn't know. I wanted either Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders to run for president in
Back then, I
2016.
remember. Mm.
And I was very happy with the idea of voting with either one of them. But as Elizabeth Warren showed herself throughout 2016 to 2020, I realized that I don't even know what she is. I don't even know who she is. This is the things that she lies about.
I thought she was
No,
progressive. I don't know if I feel as strongly as you do, but you are certainly entitled to feel that
she's good
way.
on financial policy. She's good on
Yeah,
banking
because
regulation.
she was a Republican. But she's one an old time Republican, you
She's
know?
terrible on race relations.
Right.
She's terrible on climate change. She's terrible on oil pipelines. She's terrible on drone strikes. I mean, she's absolutely she's she, she's using this identity politics against to weaponize it against Bernie Sanders. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't have a lot positive to say about her anymore. I used to have a lot positive things to say about her.
It changed. It changed when she started attacking him, and we thought her progressivism was more in tune to his, and still people are saying it, but I don't think so.
No, she shows me that she is more to the left than obviously someone like freaking Hillary Rodham Clinton or Amy Klobuchar. But those people are so extreme. They're so radical in their corporate centrist view that it's hard to say like, okay, Liz Warren is to the left of that, okay. Um, but she is to the left of that. I will grant her that, right? Obama tried to stop her when it came to putting together the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Obama went after her, and so did Biden. You know, and that's another thing. Oh, Biden seems like your typical white antebellum plantationist, right? He comes out and screams at Warren, I got you those votes for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And it's like, actually, no, that you tried to stop it.
Antonio,
And
I want to ask you one question. Darlene says to pass even one of Bernie's policies, and the YouTube stuff hasn't pulled up yet there. The Dems must take the Senate. And she says, I give that a 10 to 15% chance of flipping it. But that's where, we have to work too. Because back in 18, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I saw that and I want
no,
to
you're
say,
fine.
all those people I interviewed, the Justice Democrats, and then the ones that got in, those are the people we have to support. Those are the Bernie progressives to make the change. So we can't forget about those elections either. It's not just the presidential, it's these local ones. I'm going to be, well, to the extent that I can be out of this house, getting to get up and get out. It's very difficult not to sit through meetings, but I'm going to be involved because I want to change the congressman here. So it's not just all about Bernie, and it's not just all about beating the shit out of the other ones, which is, where it's tempting to do. I mean, I'm disgusted. Oh my God, you go get me on Michael Bloomberg and I might stop. But but how do you feel about that?
I agree, right? So obviously, we're going to have to win the Senate in order to pass legislation. I understand how the bicameral
Oh, I'm
system
sorry.
of legislation works in the United States.
I have to
Uh,
do this. I have to do this, Edgar Reese. Okay, I just woke up from a nap. Have they finished counting Al Gore's votes yet in Florida? I'm sorry. We need comic relief. Thank you, Ed. I couldn't put it up. Sorry, Antonio, for
Ed,
being rude, but
Ed Scalia, well, since he just woke up, I'll let you know Scalia is dead, so how do I win?
I have to watch
Question hell.
everybody on YouTube since the YouTube is always like the magical mystery disappear, and I try in the software to fix it, and it won't let me. I don't understand. It was on
May
before.
Scalia rest in hell.
All
But I
right.
really think the damage that people like him and Thomas have done to the United States is truly unforgivable. But regardless of all that, here's what I'll say. It is a disgrace what's happening in the Democrat Party today. Um, One of the things that I think people need to review when they think about who to vote for is actually look at where each of these politicians have stood
Yeah.
over the decades, because these people have been in politics for decades, right? And that's another thing that sets Bernie Sanders apart, is that Bernie Sanders has always been on the side of universal health care, single payer.
Yeah, he's never
Bernie
changed.
Sanders has always been on the side of responding to climate change and regulating emission into the atmosphere. Bernie Sanders has always been on the side of the working class. And so to see these politicians like Joe Biden, who's always been on the side of the credit card companies, who's always been on the side of the student loan sharks, who's always been on the side of the war industry, come up, and you have former civil rights leaders, like who was it? Jim Clyburn, come
Yeah.
out support Joe Biden,
Right
shows
away.
me that I don't know what it means to be a black civil rights leader. I mean, because that to me shows that the civil rights movement has failed. It's failed.
The leaders are dying. Just like everybody is, getting old. And the messages are being forgotten.
Martin Luther King, when he was asked by Harry Belafonte toward the end of his life, why are you sad? Why are you depressed? He said that the boycotts had won, the marches had won, the Voting
Make
Rights
me
Act
cry.
was passed, and the Civil Rights Act. So what? So why was King depressed? And King responded to him and said, because this movement, our movement, which is being called the integration movement, is an integration into a burning house.
Wow. That's pretty hairy. He made me tear up. That was really
And
it's moving.
that's Obama in 2008 for me was the epitome of he's actually Obama, and I hate to say this for people. Obama is actually not Martin Luther King's dream realized.
No. No,
O-
we might have thought that for 10 minutes.
Obama is Martin Luther King's nightmare. Obama is a talented Negro. He speaks eloquently. He understands the struggles of the Negro people. But he is bound by the operation of the plantation. So Obama, his agency in America is to be the master's best Negro. So when the master is away from the White House, the plantation, Obama is to rise in his stead, not to free the slaves, but to govern the
Yeah.
plantation.
And Biden just won Virginia.
So, God, come on. You can't just say stuff like that.
I put the thing up. Well, here you were making this beautiful
Ah,
thing, and it just got put on. And I mean, I could put on, we could follow, but we can't follow because I got really moved. And now I don't know. I don't want tonight to take that hope and that thunder out of us. I just don't.
Are they already? Are the polls closed already?
Let me see what you guys.
Shame. I want to say shame
All right.
on the people of Virginia tonight. Shame on you. Shame on the state of Virginia for saying that they want to go in the opposite direction of progress.
Let me see
That
what I
they
can pull up. Let's see what I
not
can pull up.
not want to respond to climate change, not want to respond to student debt crisis, not want to respond to the 70,000 people. We lose 70,000 people a year from 1955 to 1975. 58,000 Americans died in the Vietnam War. We lose more people in a single year than the 20 years of the Vietnam War, our healthcare industry.
Mm.
Shame on the people of Virginia tonight. Shame on the people of South Carolina.
Well, I don't know who we could pull up, but they are. It is now. Bernie Sanders. There's a rally in Vermont live right now. Other people are doing. Well, I can't find that many lives. We're live. Uh, I don't know, Antonio. We're doing
It's a
all
shame. I
right.
will say this about global dimming. I saw Trish say something about global dimming. Um, One of the things that I think will be interesting in the study of global dimming is since so much of Chinese emission had declined during the coronavirus, there had been a great removal aerosols from the atmosphere. So I'm wondering what the impact of that will be, and
That
hopefully
will
we'll
be
find that out in the
interesting.
coming months.
It will
So
be interesting. Oh, I wish I could put up the YouTube comments. I mean, we've been on for 45 minutes. We've got great stuff.
oh God,
Pink Barrio said late breaking polls of Super Tuesday states show former Vice President Joe Biden making big gains following his decisive victory in South Carolina.
I'm sick.
Well, you know
Virginia,
what?
shame on
We're
you.
together while we're looking at this, right?
Uh,
Sam Cedars live, everybody TYT is going to be live. Convo Couch will be live. Real Progressives
Andy,
will be live, and we're right here.
can you put up a green screen for me?
Okay.
Or do I get up and walk away?
No, don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. Um, Trish Kaiser says on YouTube, McPherson is saying we're done in November due to dimming. And Darlene, can I read what
I hope
Darlene
so.
just said? Darlene just said, and I'm going to say it, fuck Biden. I
I
know our
honestly,
followers think like we do.
do you think there must be a rigging of the election going on? Because I just simply can't believe that Biden lost the first three states, and simply because
No,
he lost South Carolina, he lost like,
it's
oh,
not, I don't think it's going to be a rigging. It's a brainwashing. It's not a rigging. It's the fear tactics. They have been, it's how many weeks have we been listening to this? It's made me sick. I got so sick with shingles. I don't know what it was from, if it was stress from the election or what. They have been, New York Times has been running op-eds and pieces against Bernie. In fact, there's a video that there's a YouTube guy named um, Be Less Stupid, John Hotchkiss. I watch him. He goes to Trump rallies. He infiltrates. He goes to Sanders rallies. I thought he was very pro Sanders. He actually explains it all. I watched his video today and he was talking about who he's going to support. And everybody thought he was going to say Bernie Sanders. And he came out with a 20-minute video on why he is supporting Joe Biden. I'll put the link up after this. That is where the he's clearly establishment. I was shocked, and so were his followers. It was really shocking, and he did some really great work. He was down on the border, and he was showing the terrible things that were happening on the border. And then he comes out for Biden. So what's happening is the fear tactics and using the look. I've been on Twitter. I've seen these people. They're so vicious, and they're supposed to. We're on the same team, but we're not. They're calling Bernie communists and socialists, and we're going to be like Venezuela. And these are Democrats, not Republicans. And these are people that are drinking the Kool-Aid because the status quo is very, very powerful. But the fear factor is working. So it's not rigging on a piece of paper or a computer. They're rigging the American brain, the electorate's brain by MSNBC and CNN, Fareed Zakaria, and all of them. They've been doing it for weeks now. It's been a slaughter campaign, and that's why the Rolling Stone article was good.
Oh God, this is just making me sick. This is
Well,
just making me
what better
sick.
place to be sick than with me? I love you. But
I need a drink,
do you
and then
have
I'm
one?
gonna have several after
I
all
think
that.
but
I
it's
mean,
not.
no,
It's
it's
only
great.
one state. It's only one state. I'm going to close up this whole. I think, are we going to
No, I'm
pull up?
looking at the real clear politics. And yet, Virginia,
Well, let me see if I can.
Biden has won it with 55% of the vote in Virginia.
That's what you
Bernie
got
has
up.
got 22.7. So he
What?
does pull delegates, which is good. You know what? I'm assuming that all of the former slave states will go to Biden. And that would make sense because the slave mentality runs strong
Like you
still in
said,
the former antebellum South.
it's really,
Um,
really
and
scared. I mean, it's really
it,
sad. It's tragic. It's
it is.
tragic. Let's see.
Bernie Sanders. Oh wow, North Carolina, the other former slave state. We see that Bernie 18%, Biden at 49.6%, Bloomberg at 14%, Warren at 5%. So in all these years from 16 to 2020, we didn't learn anything. I refuse to vote for a Biden during the general.
Well,
I
that's your prerogative. I can't change you. I just see. I'm scared to death of Trump because of all of the climate denial and the destruction, and I feel like, you know what I feel like. I feel like as progressives that are into climate change like this, I feel like we are being effed badly. Tim Black said Bernie will win the majority of states and delegates. Case closed. The establishment always moves the goalpost for their candidate, even with the kitchen sink of endorsements. Biden will not be the front runner. I'm really glad that Tim Black is so calm. I don't think so. And then here, Ryan Knight. What is heartbreaking about the Democratic establishment's blatant campaign to stop Sanders is the message that it sends to all young voters who are voting for the first time and getting excited about politics. These are the voters that we should be empowering, not deflating. Isn't that what I said, Antonio? We're not voting. Us old people, we're not voting. Wow, Bloomberg won American Samoa. And Randy Rhodes, she says 33 minutes ago, Biden got black voters in Virginia. She says 63%. Sanders got 18. But it's like you said, maybe the one states, but it's not over until it's over.
The former slave states, because they also went for Clinton, they just can't break their slave ties. They
Well,
cannot get the
yeah,
plantation.
I hear you.
And,
I've got this. You know what? Nominki Konst. She says I'm shocked. I tell you that Biden won the Beltway. I'd like to see the comments on hers. She said,
and,
"What? Go ahead."
and I know it might be distasteful to talk this way, but I think people should know. I was born in the South, and I was raised practically on tobacco fields, and so my perspective on this, it might be distasteful for more cosmopolitan America, but in my view, it is very real
It is
that
very real.
our history informs, in some sense, dictates what our present is. Um, and we have to understand where we've come to know where we're going. And I know that for Black people in America, where we come from is slavery. And slavery is the absolute devaluation of your human being. And the type of mindset that is institutionalized and culturalized into a minority, a hyper minority. Blacks represent only like 10-12% of the United States population. And particularly in the South, it's a servitude. Okay? It's a servitude type mentality that people genuinely believe that when they look at someone like Joe Biden and the establishment Democrat, they genuinely believe that the Democrats haven't done anything for them because Republicans have always stopped them. They don't understand. They admit the view that Democrats are not just being stopped by Republicans. Democrats are actively working to hurt them and to undermine them as to serve their political corporate donors. And if that means that you're going to build a heavy industrial chemical plant in a black neighborhood in a Democrat district in Texas, you do it, damn it. Because the blacks will be there and they'll vote for you anyways.
Oh my God.
And that's what we're experiencing in Virginia. That's what we're experiencing in North Carolina. That's what we're experiencing in South Carolina. That's what we're experiencing in Flint. We see this all the time. And they know it, and that's the same line, it's the same tactic Bill Clinton used. That who are they going to vote for? There's nowhere else to go. So yeah, black people, buckle up. You're going to get poisoned by Republicans and by Democrats.
It's really sick. Let's see, Hoople's cat. He's from Canada and he does wonderful videos. He says, the world will not forgive America if you deliver Trump to us for another 4 years. You all know that, right? He's Canadian. The world. And we've got some wonderful YouTube comments and I can't get them up on the screen. Let's see.
Oh, wow.
Humans, Torstein said humans don't understand the exponential function. Well, maybe they're talking about the virus. Tezcatlipoca. They have ways to influence your decisions through social media without you knowing it, which is exactly what we were talking about earlier, wasn't it? That it may not be a hard rigging of every state. It could be the hard rigging of the brain.
Soft propaganda. No, that's absolutely true. One of the things that I noticed even this week is that no matter what political show I put on YouTube, it always defaults back to the algorithm always defaults back to CNN. So no matter what I watch, if I watch the Young Turks, if I watch Jimmy Dore, if I watch the Pinkinator, if I watch Environmental Coffee House, it doesn't matter. It always defaults back to CNN. And it's because the establishment wants you to have the corporate view of the world.
Yeah, let's see what's on my phone. Let's see if you're right about that. And if it comes up, no. Actually, the David Pakman show. Oh, Lukman Nation, Jackie Lukman, she's live now too.
If you click on those videos, the
Look
next
at Jackie
video,
and Amy. They're my buddies. They're from DC. I love them. I stayed at their house. I love them. She's wonderful. She's on the Real News Network now.
The next videos usually in the lineup happen to be CNN. So if you click on a video.
All right, let's see. I'll click on. I know what you're talking about. So if I click on David Pakman, he's got 2.3 thousand people watching, and we've got 49. And guess what? We've got 49 quality motherfuckers. Oh, wait, 54. Thank you, YouTube. 54. Yes. And I'll take that 54 over 2.5 thousand numbnuts. Actually, no. I've got I got a whole bunch of live streams. Wait. Nope. CBS News.
I promise you, Sandy. There you go.
The Young Turks.
But you watch your YouTube, and I don't know how often you watch political shows, or at least for me.
Like I'm addicted to Nicole Sandler.
The algorithms are biased toward the mainstream shows.
Oh, of course. I'm just excited that, you know what? Would anybody mind if I just pulled up Jackie for a minute? I want to introduce you guys to these wonderful people. We went to the climate march together. She is an amazing person. Oh, let's see, Lukman. Uh, and Lukman Nation, they're on now. Her and her husband, AB. I love them. And you know what? I'm so surprised you don't know them. Let's see if we can hear this. And let me get me out.
This is
See what
not
they're
our
talking.
fault. You know how they blamed Ebola on the green monkey?
I'm
All
so
it's always
sorry.
the green
Can you
monkey.
guys
Yep.
hear them?
So now we have coronavirus cases here in the United
Oh,
States.
they're talking about that.
And for people who are
Let me chat and tell her we're here.
elderly,
She's going to flip out.
compromised,
Yeah, like if you
and
have
who
like
are
diabetes.
They really are
something like that.
awesome.
right, autoimmune disease,
Yeah.
lupus. These
Well, they're
kinds of
on to
things
this.
have a
Did
weakened
anybody want to
immune
go on
system.
to this and talk about the
Already have
coronavirus? Because
HIV,
they are.
people who have cancer,
Yeah.
and young children. Yes, coronavirus is more deadly than the flu. However, it needs to be noted that
Can't
this
find how I
year
can chat.
alone in the United States, 10,000 people have already been reported to have died from the
Well,
flu.
it's good in
So
North Carolina, at
we
least.
have
Biden's not
in
winning
this
by
country a
as
healthcare
large of a
system
lead as he
that
did in
cannot
Virginia.
even, it isn't
Um,
even
and I don't
sufficient
know.
to
We could
treat
see that in North
people, to
Carolina,
keep them from
the
dying
votes are
from the
still coming
flu.
in. They're calling it for Joe Biden in North
And
They are.
Carolina.
All right, let
Uh,
me
how
go
in the
back
world are we going to
to.
handle a
I'll take
coronavirus?
her off. Let me go back to
and I'm watching the Real
Twitter.
Clear Politics.
Okay, you're on Real Clear Politics, and I'm on. Let me see if I can pull that up, and we can see a little of that. You know what? I'll tell you what, for pulling this together at the last minute, Antonio, we're doing pretty good because there was no way I was going to go live and with hurting. But man, I was just all right. Let's look what they've got. Everybody can see. All right, let's see here. Um, I'm just going to say real quick, Kim and Bio. Hi, Bio. Um, we got a lot of people on YouTube, and I can't get those gosh darn things. So let's see. Vermont, Sanders won. Virginia, Biden. Wow, it's 71% of the precincts, but only 9% of the precincts are in Vermont. North Carolina, Biden, not by well, with only 1%. 1% of the precincts represents 13,000 votes for Biden. Alabama, zero, nothing in yet. Massachusetts, nothing in yet. Um, Maine, nothing in yet. Oklahoma, nothing, nothing, nothing in Arkansas. So it ain't over till the skinny lady or the fat lady, either one sings, right?
Yeah, I mean, we won't find out the toll from
All
this
right.
until probably Thursday morning.
So then maybe Thursday morning, but at least we could try to calm down a little bit. We got to do a little bit of ranting. We've been on for an hour. It felt good because I felt so frustrated. I've been sick in my personal life. I've got, my personal life, I feel like it's mirroring the country. It's like other people are in control of my financial life, determination. I got sick. I had an accident. It's like this. It's like what's happening to the earth keeps happening to me, and it's kind of weird. And I'm not a victim. I always say that. Sorry for moving around, guys. I'm not a victim. I don't like to say it or, oh, poor me, feel sorry for me, because that's not the way it is. It's just that, wow, and then I have to, and I won't say why, but I have to feel guilty for coming on live to be with the people that I love. And it just so happens to be online. And I have to feel guilty because of it. And it's what I have. And those the power that be, what would they rather me do? I'm a disabled person. And am I supposed to be laying in bed and watching TV? Sorry, I didn't pay all that money for school. You know, I have brain fog at times and sometimes I don't. And that's why I like being a team, because when my brain is foggy, I can always turn it over to you, Antonio, or Nicholas, or Jennifer, who know way more than me.
No, we don't know way
Come
more than you
on,
do. We all
I'm just the I'm the the foil. I'm the glue. Jennifer says I'm the glue. All right, I'm the glue. But without you guys, where are we? And Jonathan O, I have to say. And Kim, who does all the sharing, and Mindy, who does all the graphics. I mean, I always go back to this, that we love each other, because we really do. I know I do. I do. You looking at the YouTube comments? Anything
Yeah, yeah.
interesting? What have you come up with? You want to talk? They came back. I can put it back. I knew this would happen. They leave and then they come back. So let's see what we can get up onto the screen. This is so weird. Now let's see. Echoes for Not, how are you? Let's put you on. NP, that's how Trump will keep numbers down. Oh, I think I'm coming in the middle of a everybody's talking about the coronavirus. Roger from Facebook, actually, what was being discussed was Bernie Sanders and our collective disgust for the propagandizing of America against Bernie, because he is not business as usual, and because he is a spectacular candidate, and people are just gullible, and they are they're glutton for punishment. I really honestly think that, or that the Democrats think, well, we'll just install someone like Biden and make it through the next 4 years and somehow be able to get rid of the scourge. I mean, you have to admit the Trump administration is horrible, and they're ruining exponentially. They're ruining the national parks, and they're ruining everything. But
I will say, if we do get a Biden-like figure, um, we'll get a worse Republican than Trump afterwards.
God,
And that will be at the most critical moment in human history.
it is.
When so climate change will be out of control by then, and we'll have a Republican denying racist, militaristic, competent, police militarizing maniac at the helm of the ship at the worst moment. So Biden poses a double threat: his own stupidity, but then the repercussion of him, and the repercussion of a failure like Biden is a. I mean, the failure of Obama was Trump. Think about that. Obama produced Trump. Think about what the failure of a Biden would produce.
I just don't think he's going to win against Trump. I think we're going to be, like I said earlier, we'll be
That's the
Burisma.
best possible situation. The best possible situation for the future
Mm.
is that we get another Trump right now.
4 more
And the
years
worst
of
possible
this.
situation for the future is that a Biden wins, and then we get something that's so much worse than Trump in the
But
future.
if the Biden wins, though, I mean, let me play devil's advocate here. Could not we fight, and could not we just get more involved in the whole process? Progressives are getting involved in the process. The Justice Democrats are. So could you just think for a minute that that's a possibility, that you get a lame duck like Biden in, and that's an opportunity for
Only if
progressives?
only if the system collapses under Biden, if the economy collapses. But if it doesn't, what happens is that Biden's presence will polarize the left, or the so-called left in the United States. The moderates will become more moderate. They'll become more stubborn. And they'll see that progressives pushing the envelope as radical extremists who are upsetting the cart and who are actually stopping progress, right? Because there's going to be two views of progress. There's going to be actual progress, and then there's going to be the plantation. And Biden's going to be pushing the plantation. And people are going to go for that because they're going to think that that's the actual progress, though. And they're going to say that progressives, oh, you're just getting in the way of us doing this now. You're just as bad as the Republicans. But in reality, trying to get universal health care is not in the way of trying to get profits for, so that's what we're fighting against now. So Biden will only serve to polarize the left itself, and then he will continue the extreme polarization of the right versus left mentality. Because, of
Okay.
course, despite Biden being on the right, the Republicans are not going to cede anything to them. Even though Biden's healthcare plan is going to leave out hundreds of thousands, allow hundreds of thousands of people to die, Republicans aren't satisfied with that. So they're going to go after him on the right. And of course, the progressives are going to go after him on the left. And then the moderates are going to be stupid and stubborn the whole way through. So we're really getting ourselves into it's an end type game scenario, having Biden into the White House, or at least even so our best possible future, if Biden is the Democratic nominee, is that Donald Trump beats him. Because if Donald Trump beats him, at least we can still have that galvanizing effect of having that maniac in the White House, where hopefully Bernie Sanders would not run again in 2024, but somebody Bernie Sanders-esque would have to run, who I would hope would have more fight in them than Bernie Sanders. But then that person would have no name. They would have no name recognition, and they'd have to start the whole damn thing over again.
So run for something, Antonio. You're so articulate. You're so bright. You have so much going for you. Get in the system. To win the system, you got to get in the system.
I am being so mentally defeated by this. I'm watching this unfold. It's a trauma. It really is a trauma for me to watch the country make the wrong decision at the most crucial time in our history. To see my own home state, North Carolina, make the wrong decision as they've done tonight. It's just absolutely horrifying to see this continue to happen. So for me,
I want to hug you.
Alabama's coming in, and what are they saying? Alabama's got the former slave state, 41% Biden. So yeah. Hopefully, we see a turnaround with Massachusetts, Maine, Oklahoma. But we'll see. We'll see. Tennessee's
tight.
Coming in.
Yeah. And then Bloomberg, this guy, he says at a meeting today, he says he's gunning for that brokered convention because he can't, how is he going to get it unless they have a brokered convention? He's so arrogant. He's disgusting. He says that's the only way he's going to win there. And it's going to be, and that's at Biden's expense. I mean, he's even oh, sorry guys. I wasn't even thinking I'm on putting lip gloss on. I am it's dry in my house. Okay.
I don't even know what to say.
Who is Martyr? He's new, but I know it's not a new person. I think I know who it is. Bernie went to the Vatican with his whole family in April 2016, and here we are. Coronavirus closing in. It's time to call out from school and work and make it absolutely political. I know who it is. That's Lord Yu. Well, listen. Maybe it's time. Maybe we need to do the debt strike. Well, not that we don't call it that. Maybe we need to do it. Let me find his thing from before. I know it's you. And he's probably mad at me because I haven't finished his book yet because I can't even read. I can't even concentrate to read. Here it is. He said, I put it up before, our last ditch effort for peaceful change to address all of the roots of our problems is a snap. The general national strike and make it absolutely political, addressing fascism, a peaceful military coup. So it's called, everybody has to get together even more than what has happened with Bernie. And Bernie, that's another thing. I've watched Bernie's rallies every single day. I walk around the house. I don't feel good. I put my, or I lay in bed. I put my headset on. But I listen to his rallies because I got inspired. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people there. He's inspirational. Joe Biden, it's like a wet noodle. I mean, like a wet noodle.
Bowl of chili that was left for 10 years.
I guess
I don't even know what to say anymore. I mean, what is going on with this country? I mean, I felt like there was so much room for change. There was so much potential. and now the great state of Tennessee is coming in, and look, Tennessee, it's 19.9 to 25.5 in Tennessee, so
Right.
that's actually hopeful that even a state like
Right.
Tennessee.
And they just had a terrible tornado. Nick was reporting on it on his Nick's weather page. Meteorologist Nick Humphrey on Facebook is really good, and ECH has kind of lowered. We stopped putting so much weather stuff on because why would we do that when go to Nick? He's part of us. Just go to his page and you can read all the weather stuff, or go to our page and you can read everything else. Jonathan O is a great editor, by the way. I have to
Warren
put
needs
that
to
in.
drop out. Um, I think Warren does need to drop out at this point, just because she's dragging in these polls. I think she's hurting herself by staying in. Actually, at this point, I hate to see that,
Yeah.
but that's what's happening.
Jim says Biden will be like the second term of Reagan, dementia. It is, and that's going to be something. Trump, who is demented himself, the two of them, can you see them on the stage together? I think it's going to be like the ironic doomer comedy. I mean, for us, doomers watching this sickness. Oh my God. Bernie, let's see, where are you? Natural progressive. Chris says never ever say any blue will do. I don't say that. It feels like the fire this time. I don't say it. I like to talk about scenarios. I'd like to talk about, well, the what ifs. I like to talk about the different kinds of things that can happen. I don't look at Democrats as bad. I think it's their leadership in the DNC. And I think that people are on all sides. This whole country is propagandized from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep. Even if you don't watch television, and if you don't pay on YouTube, you have to watch 4 or 5 seconds of an ad. I mean, we are program. Everybody is programmed, and they're scared, they're full of fear, and that's basically the bottom line. The establishment has done this. They did it. And let's hope these other states deliver. But now I'm not even feeling hopeful about New York, where Bernie won all of the small states in New York. He didn't win the central city area, the counties by the city,
Yeah,
but he won all of the small states.
they're calling
I mean,
Alabama,
they're calling
the former
Alabama.
slave state of Alabama, for Joe as well, for Uncle Joe.
Oh,
I mean, this is to watch this in person is such a. Oh man, Massachusetts is going. Oh, Sandy, can we? I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to get. I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go.
well, wait a second. Aren't you
Oh
better
man.
off?
Oh,
Aren't you better off being with your family online than sitting there
Jesus.
alone?
Well, I hope you guys are taking this is a big public support group.
It is. We always say that this is a support group. Everybody on YouTube is here. We've got 43 people on YouTube, and how many people do we have with us on Facebook? Um, I,
You guys might see me cry tonight if I'm
I've
watching
already
this.
cried. I already cried. Maybe we can cry together. I mean, there are people that are not as invested in it, as we are, but I feel I'm invested in it. How many people are watching on? I don't even know. Facebook, maybe we have 7 people. But
Oh God, he's neck to neck to him in freaking Texas too. They're neck to neck in
all
Texas.
right, let me get this on here. Let me turn this off. All right, I'm on Real Clear Politics. So Texas, we have Minnesota 0 still. We've got, it doesn't look like it's moving on. How come it doesn't look like it's moving on the screen? I'm moving it, but it doesn't look like it's moving on the screen. Let's see here. Okay, now it's moving on the screen because I had to move it. We are, wow. Sanders is, of course, Vermont, but so far Biden's got more votes, and yeah, I'm sorry, Antonio. I want to cry, and I'll probably cry all night if it doesn't go our way. It's not that we're crying. We're crying for the country. I'm crying for my kid. I'm crying for the future.
What the hell? Ooh.
California. We have a while for California. We have a
I
while for
can't I
Utah.
can't do this another 4 years. Like this is like
You,
I've been like
and you're
this,
young.
when I watched the South vote for Clinton in 16, it was so painful for me. It was so painful, and now to watch us do this again for Biden is just as I mean, I thought I would learn something in myself. I thought I would grow as a person and be able to deal with this better 4 years later, and I've made no progress on this. I am, if anything, more defeated now than I was then, and and it's so slimy, right? It's so
Right.
slimy from the way that CNN and MSNBC cover this, to the way that it's dismissed in college classrooms, to just like literally to see people vote against their own interest in these very
That's
clever and
exactly what's
propagandized
happening.
ways.
It's exactly what's happening.
It's it,
So, mm,
it's disgusting. It's disgusting to see. Oh wow! So they're calling. I'm looking at this, and I'm gonna stay on this because you're my friend, and I'm gonna
if you
support you.
want,
I'm gonna
if you
support this.
want, if you want, we have been on
No, we
an
can
hour
keep
and
going. We're
15
gonna,
minutes.
because I think it's important that we're here. But we're looking at Alabama, Joe Biden, North Carolina, Joe Biden, Virginia, Joe Biden, Tennessee, Joe Biden. ME stands for Maine.
Yeah, yes.
Maine's Joe Biden. Oklahoma's Joe Biden. So
How
this
did
is
this happen in a week? A turnaround from the
this is
last.
like 2 days. 2 days. That's what I'm saying. Something is going on here. Something is going on here.
I just can't see how there could be a concerted effort for every single. As I've been part of a party, I can't see how how there could be a concerted effort to actually literally rig every state. There would be too many people involved, and it would be leaking. This is a product of fear and paranoia. We are living in a fearful, paranoid time. Why do you think we have so many people that believe in chemtrails and all of the HARP and the DARPA and I mean, I watch these chats. I see these chats on a couple of these shows that these people are just deluded. It's just it's what we live in, and you're young. You can make a difference and maybe make a change if you got involved somehow in something, even ran in a local race, because I think you're as articulate as hell, Antonio, and so do a lot of people. They
I'm very
are,
emotional too, and I need to find a way not to be.
but so am
Um,
I know. Uh, chew your inside of your lip when it feels
so
like.
here's the New York Times. Here's a bit of good news. They're saying that first of all, Maine might still tilt towards Sanders. They're saying that Vermont is going to be Sanders. Massachusetts is likely Sanders. Texas is
I
likely
can't do
Sanders. Colorado is definitely Sanders.
Texas Sanders.
Texas is likely to be Sanders.
Okay.
Utah definitely Sanders. California definitely Sanders. So it might be one, two, three, let me see, four, five, six, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. So Bernie Sanders still might get the majority of states out of this.
Mm.
Um, and what,
So are
right
we
now,
jumping the gun?
yeah, maybe that's what I'm saying. I'm emotional.
Maybe we're jumping the gun. I mean,
But still, the fact that Biden has won what he has is so
in
devastating.
so short of a time, he was like doing really lousy, and he's not articulate when he's out there, and he stutters, and he stutters, that's not his fault, but I mean he's not articulate anymore. But I'm going to put up that video because you're going to see why people are voting for him if you listen to John Hotchkiss from uh, Be Less Stupid, because I thought he was everybody that follows him thought he was a Sanders supporter. Wow, he drank the Kool-Aid.
Sandy, and I just want to be clear for everybody. So I'm looking. I don't know what people are looking at when they look at this, but I'm looking at the Real Clear Politics, and I'm also looking at the New York Times,
I could
and I
try to
think I'm
pull up the
getting I think
Times.
I'm getting mixed data here from from both of them. So I just want to be clear for everybody as I'm looking at this. Right now, the Real Clear Politics is saying that Bernie Sanders has 26.9% of Texas vote,
Hmm.
while Biden has 18.5. And let's see what the New York Times is saying. And the New York Times is
I can't
saying
pull it up. I'm going to
in
try to
their
pull it up.
in their live coverage is of Super Tuesday is saying that Texas right now is 36.6% Sanders and 23% Bloomberg, 15% Biden. So there's mixed. First of all, the New York Times is only saying that how much of the Texas vote is in so far.
I don't know. I'm going to see if I can bring it up. Live results, New York Times, North Carolina, um, five
So
minutes
this is what's
ago.
confusing me.
Oh, they've got everything is maybe Sanders. They said about oh shit. I'm not going to be able to show this really correctly. So, but is that what you're looking at? What specifically are you looking at? I
So for me, are you talking about Real Clear Politics in New
No,
York
I
Times?
have that. The New York Times. I'm looking for what you're looking at.
So the New York Times, go to their top banner where it says live results, and it should show you a live election results Super Tuesday 2020. And it will show you a graphic of
Mm,
the United States, and you can see the different states that are in game
I
for
can't sign in.
Tuesday. And
They're
it looks
idiots.
like Maine has gone, according to the New York Times, to Biden at
Yeah.
38.3% compared to Bernie's 30%. Massachusetts appears to be going to Biden at 34% compared to Bernie Sanders'
Well,
25%.
those idiots, they paywalled me, so forget it. I'll just stay on Real Clear Politics. Um, okay, let's see here.
But see, Real Clear is
John,
saying that Maine is 30%
oh,
Sanders so
William
far.
Martyr.
Um, okay, so they're starting to align a little bit better now. Um,
These are very
but
early results, yeah.
but see here, Tennessee, they're saying Bernie Sanders has 24% of the vote in Tennessee, is what Real Clear Politics is saying.
Hmm.
And here it's saying that Bernie only has 20%. So it's kind of interesting um, what's going on.
And are they using the same kind of computer feed? I mean, what's the New York
Well, I'm
Times?
hoping they're voting. I hope they're counting the votes the same way.
No, I mean, are the media? How is the media getting their stuff?
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
the
I
New
have
York
no
Times
idea.
and Real Clear Politics. I mean, who's getting it faster? Who's doing it? New York Times has all the money. I don't know who backs. I don't know who backs Real Clear Politics. I don't know, but
Well, I'm assuming
it
that
does
it's
look like in Texas that Sanders is leading. Holy crap! That does give me a little tiny bit, little tiny tiny.
it
This is
was, it's weird for
this
the
is
New
a
York
long
Times,
one.
in that you can tell they're always establishment, but they
Ugh.
have these. They have Maine and Massachusetts tilting to Sanders and maybe Sanders, but
Uh
yet they're
huh.
calling it for Joe Biden. So
Ugh.
it's just like
Craziness.
you
A
know.
little
So
crazy.
I have. You know what's
Okay.
going on.
I don't know. We'll see. Well, we'll stay. I mean, we've been on. We'll stay on until my back says, "Oh God, I can't do it anymore." I mean, I'm just getting over it, but I don't have a headache right now. But of course, I mean, I'm using my medical vape, and I have my, I'm loaded up on my helpers. um, yeah, it was a good site though. The real clear politics. Let's see what's everybody saying now that I. Hoople says Bernie will win Super Tuesday, but the MSM will say Biden is the front runner. So you think so tonight? We'll hear that he'll win it, and um, oh, Chris is in Utah. Fox News is all Shirhana. Hi, Shirhana, sweetheart. Fox News is already reporting Biden rolls to early Super Tuesday victory. The other thing, how everybody was saying how, oh, Trump was wanting Bernie and telling everybody to go vote for Bernie. That was another fear tactic. Trump was saying that because because he's scared to go up against Bernie. And that's what I think. He was telling everybody, and he knew then the Democrats would seize on that and say, oh my God, Bernie's a Russian asset because Trump, the Russian asset, is telling the people to go vote for Bernie. Oh, geez. That was really pissing me off when they called Bernie a Russian asset. I wanted to jump through several screens about that. And thank you to Martyr. Let's see. He said, America already failed my self-imposed goal of waking up with the full knowledge in entirety of the Jesuit Zionist conspiracy historical timeline and money trail by Valentine's Day. Distracted? Okay. He's the abstract guy. I don't quite know if he's talking in riddles or what. I'm trying to figure this guy out. So for what it is. And Tony says, Tony, you said Joe brags about being vice president under Obama. Okay, no problem. But consider Trump's vice pres. He looks like a storeroom dummy and acts like a mannequin. Listen, no, but everybody that knows me knows that I hate Trump and I have Trump derangement syndrome. I hate the guy. And I hate his mobster administration. And I hate authoritarian dictatorship lovers like he is. And I use the word hate. I hate to use it. I hate to use it. Da-da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. I should go get us a shot of tequila. I never do that. I wish I could pass it to you through the phone. Rudy says, it's way too close. I'm afraid super delegates will cheat Bernie in the second round again. Yeah, it's way too close right this minute, but you know,
And so here's another thing. So right now I'm looking at the Real Clear Politics, and they're saying Bernie has 36% of the vote compared to Joe Biden's 33, and yet the New York Times has Maine highlighted under Biden. So it's just like, why can't we just have a fair display of what's going on? Like, come on, we
why
don't
can't
have.
we have fair elections in the first place? Still have caucuses. Yeah, I see. It says Sanders in Maine. Real Clear says 313 votes. Is this 313 literally 313 in Maine? Doesn't anybody fucking vote in Maine? What's going on here?
There's not a lot of people to vote in Maine.
But 313 in the whole state? Well, actually, it's only 1%. What am I doing? See, now I'm getting crazy.
Ooh, and
Oh.
Biden just gained on that. That they just updated, so he just gained. But
Pink Barrio, and I really respect him. He does a fabulous talk.
I do like Pinkberry as well.
He just said Biden was selected a long time ago. Well, we knew that. And then Michael Bloomberg kind of came in when the Democrats got a little panicked because Biden is such a loser, and and he has no but then Michael Bloomberg is a blank. Ugh, he's horrible. I love when he said he bought the Congress when he did in the debate. He got them. He says he got them. Oh my God. Oh my God, what is this, Pascal? Hi, Pascal, sweetheart. Add a toilet paper down under. Now that's an emergency. What to do? What to do? Put a little bit. Oh no, you don't have a lot of water. Well, just use a washcloth and a pail of water. What the fuck? It's fecal material. Get a little hand sanitizer, mix it with water, and wipe your butt. There's my scientific. Oops. Um, there we go. Shirhana says Boris Johnson in the UK did not win the popular vote either. This is global neoliberalism. She's right. And that is such a whole other, we could go into. How long have we been
Chicken
on?
and
All
soup
right, listen.
Tuesday.
We've been on an hour and a half. I can't sit much longer. So, Antonio, I'm going to put it back on us, and I would like maybe you to do the closing, and perhaps after the dust clears, maybe we'll come back and follow up if everybody wants us to.
All right. Well, sorry guys for getting emotional about this. I mean, I'm not totally sorry because this is very emotional.
It
The
is.
decisions that we make today will impact us forever. And so it's very important that we make
You got some
qualified
beautiful
decisions,
things.
qualified decisions today. Um, so God bless us. God bless Super Tuesday, Texas, California, the people of the United States. We can achieve Medicare for all. We can have debt-free college. We can respond to climate change.
We can have nice things. We just have to fight harder for them, I guess. And I don't know what that takes unless everybody, how about somebody like you who's articulate and wonderful, instead of being a politician, get into the media. Get into the media. I mean, I don't know what the answers are. I don't know how to combat what's going on. I'm getting old. I want to do it for my daughter and for the younger people. You know, I have a lot of things I want to do, and then a body that says, no, you can't do it. But Antonio, I have a lot of faith in you.
Well,
I do.
I hope that things get better. I'm going to participate as much as I can in trying to get things to do better. But we are running out of time, and we should known better to have even played around with the idea of Joe Biden toward the presidency.
Um,
It's
yeah.
an offense to human dignity to have this happen. And it truly shows that American culture is repulsive and vile in every way. Um, and it's emblematic of the crisis that we face globally. And a moment like this that we would dare put Biden this close to the White House is nearly as offensive as putting Trump in the White House. As offensive as putting the former Secretary of State in the White House, who literally laughs at the idea that drone strikes might be killing children. Um, this is.
And don't
But
forget,
remains.
Dick Cheney and George Bush, didn't they, didn't they, uh,
I mention them because it's just like, but that's what I'm talking about. The American
they're
political landscape
supporting
is
Biden. Yeah.
is so wretched that it's so hard to really talk about because it's so absurd. It's so absurd, right? Once you've already named people who mock the idea of murdering children, right? So Ronald Reagan, for example, went into Latin America with death squads, murdering men, women, and children indiscriminately. Like once you're already at that level, then Jones striking children is not like that far removed from that. And so you don't, to get a real sense of what's happening, this idea, of criticizing these people, it almost itself becomes an absurdity. Because what can I say about a Biden character? What can I say about a Trump character? What can I say about a Negroponte or a Wolfowitz or Cheney.
Yeah.
Madeleine Albright,
Kissinger.
when Madeleine Albright was asked about the hundreds of thousands that have died to children due to sanctions, she said it was worth it. I mean, I can't say anything, and people actually, when I do say like, oh, these people are disgusting, deplorable, people go at me and say, Antonio, you're being extreme. These are people who idly stand by and dismiss the fact that hundreds of thousands of children have died in their wake. But I'm the extreme one if I call them a corporate slut or something like that. I've never made a decision to drone strike a wedding before. But yeah, if I call someone a corporate slut, that they're on their knees for corporations, if I say something like that, that's considered repulsive. But if I'm actually voting for people who sign off on policies to murder children, whether they be in Iraq or East Timor or Nicaragua or Honduras or Iran or Somalia or Libya, those people aren't considered repulsive in American politics. Those people are thrusted toward the White House.
I think that's a pretty good ending. It gives food for thought. It kind of explains where we are and who we are. It's not all of us, but it certainly seems like it's a lot of us. We love you all. Thank you all for coming. Roger says humans are the same everywhere. History creates bad circumstances sometimes. And it's time to go. Thank you all for coming to this last minute. We didn't plan anything. I was on the way home from the drugstore and I texted Antonio and said, let's go on. We needed it. We needed our family. Let's do our peace sign, guys. Love you all. I'm going to put on the video. And good night, everybody.